Good morning, everybody. Just to follow up a few things about the scales that I was talking about in the previous two videos. First of all, obviously we need to understand what a scale actually is. The definition of a scale is a series of 8 consecutive notes. And as I say, that's very important to remember. They have to be consecutive notes. They have to go alphabetically through the musical alphabet. The major scale has got a specific pattern. Incidentally, another name for the major scale, the original name for it, was the Ionian mode. Okay, so if you ever come across and hear about the modes, the ancient modes, one of them, the main one, is the Ionian mode, which is now referred to as the major scale. And as I said before, the major scale must have a semitone step between the 3rd and the 4th note and the 7th and the 8th notes. Okay, so I've prepared a little bit of a chart here, which you might be able to see here. Okay, so starting off with the C major scale. C major scale goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And you'll notice we've got the first tetrachord, C, D, E, F, going up a tone, and then a semitone. And then the second tetrachord goes G, A, B, C. Again, you've got a semitone step from the B to the C. Now, this second tetrachord of G major is the second tetrachord of C major, is the first tetrachord of G major, which goes G, A, B, C. It then continues up the scale, D, E, F sharp, G. Now, the scale has to go that way. As I say, in order to follow the same pattern as C major, the G major scale has to have an F sharp, because without it, it would sound a little bit odd. Okay, if we do a G major scale without the F sharp, it's still classed as a scale, but it, again, going back to the ancient modes, this is the Mixolydian mode, which is actually a mode that's used a lot in bagpipe music, because they can play a complete Mixolydian mode, but they don't actually on the pipes have any particular major scale other than the D major scale, which starts at D, goes up to A, and then they drop down to G, so they don't have a complete octave of a scale. But anyway, we don't need to talk about bagpipes too much. As I say, if you do a G major scale, you have to have the F sharp, because without it, it's not a major scale. Okay, so as I say, there's the, hopefully you can see that now, there's the G major scale starting G, A, B, C, carrying on D, E, F sharp to G. That then gives us the next scale. You'll see how each scale gives us, the end of each scale is the start of a new scale. D major then gives us the start of A major, which then gives us the start of E major, which then gives us B major. Mind, in my previous video I was saying about the importance of the F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay, where is the F major? Well, this first half of the C major scale is the second half of the F major scale. So, here we are. There's the F major scale coming down, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F. The first half of the F major scale, of course, gives us the end of the B flat major scale. The B flat major scale then gives us the E flat. The E flat major scale gives us the end of the A flat major scale, which then gives us D flat, which then gives us G flat. Now, rather than keep going to the next flat and the next flat in our circle of fifths, that doesn't happen. G flat and F sharp obviously are the same note. Their scales are the same scales, and the second half, just the first half, sorry, of F sharp major gives us the ending of B major scale. As I say, we've now gone full circle. We went all the way up to B. By going up, I refer in particular to the number of sharps that appear in each scale. So G major has 1 sharp, D major has 2 sharps, A has 3, E has 4, B has 5, and F sharp major has 6, which is the same as G flat major with its 6 flats, 5 flats, 4 flats, 3 flats, 2 flats and 1 flat. And again, you might see my scribble here. I've written out the circle of fifths as C in the middle, C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, or going the other way, F, B flat, E flat, A flat. I've just squeezed in the D flat and the G flat there. So if we pop this onto this circle, that hopefully make more sense. So at the top of the circle, think of your C major. Next to C major, going round the circle, you add sharps. So the key of C major, no sharps or flats, whereas the key of G major has 1 sharp, the key of D major has 2, the key of A major has 3, the key of E major has 4, the key of B major has 5 sharps, and at the bottom here the key of F sharp has 6 sharps. Going the other way, F major has 1 flat, B flat major has 2 flats, E flat major has 3 flats, A flat major has 4 flats, D flat major has 5 flats, which brings us to G flat major, which has 6 flats, but F sharp and G flat are one of the same key. So we've completed the circle of fifths, and that's why it's known as the circle of fifths. As I say, what's really quite handy is to write out the circle of fifths and remember it as F, C, G, D, A, E and B, because when it comes to the G major scale having 1 sharp, that 1 sharp was the sharp of F sharp. The D major scale has 2 sharps, and they are F sharp and C sharp, and so on. A major has 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. So this tells us the order of the sharps, gives us the sharps in their correct order. In any music exam, when you write in the key signature, you should always put the sharps in their correct order. 1 sharp is always F sharp, 2 sharps is F sharp and C sharp, and so on, all the way up to 6 sharps. And then, coming this way, that's round to the flats. F major has 1 flat, and that 1 flat is B flat. B flat major has 2 flats, and they are B flat and E flat. E flat major has 3 flats, B flat, E flat and A flat, and so on, all the way down to G flat, which would have the 6 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat and C flat. And as I say, if we look at this, where I've written out the F, C, G, D, A, E, B, we then carry on F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. If we keep going up a fifth each time, that's what we'll end up at. Likewise, as we go down the circle, round the circle, into the flats, it's B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, F flat, and you can keep going. You could keep going, in fact, to you've got your 7 natural notes, F, C, G, D, A, E and B. You've then got your 7 notes sharped. In theory, you can then go to another 7 notes, which would be double sharped. Coming to the left, you've got your 7 flats, and then you could go to your 7 double flats. So in other words, you've got your 7 naturals, your 7 sharps, your 7 flats, your 7 double sharps, and your 7 double flats, which gives you a total of 35 different letter names in the whole of music, as in the fact that a note of C can be called C, it can be called B sharp, and it can be called D double flat. That's an enharmonic change. In fact, every single key can be named in 3 different ways. There are 12 different notes, actual keys, 12 different keys making up the octave. Obviously, if each note can be named in 3 different ways, 3 12s is 36, and we've actually only got 35 names, and that is because one note can only be named in 2 different ways, and that is this one in the middle here. That note can only be a G sharp or an A flat, and do watch out, because that is a little bit of a trick question that often crops up in both theory and theory exams, and also I've come across it in the Viva Voce section of practical examinations, where the examiner might ask what is the one note that can only be named 2 different ways. So as I say, just to recap very quickly, I keep going on about this and I'll keep going on about it. Everybody, you must memorize F, C, G, D, A, E, B. It's used to work out just about everything in terms of scales and the relationship of scales with each other. I say we looked at the way that each scale is, think of it in 2 halves, 2 tetrachords. The first tetrachord of one scale is always the second tetrachord of another, and obviously when you look at this, the second tetrachord of C major is the first of G, which then gives us the start of D. As I say, if you look at this, there's the C scale, no sharps, there's G major scale with 1 sharp, D major with 2, A major with 3, E major has 4, B major has 5. I've ran out of space, but next is F sharp major with 6 sharps. Okay, that's exactly the same as G flat major. It's just a change of name, but not of pitch. It's called an enharmonic change. G flat major 6 flats, D flat 5, A flat has 4 flats. Incidentally, you might notice, of course, that because we start and end on the same note, that is still only counted as 4 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. The fact that the A flat appears twice doesn't count it as double. There are 4 flats there. 3 in E flat, 2 in B flat, 1 in F major, and then the second half of F major, C, D, E, F, brings us back round to our C major. So as I say, we've gone round in a big circle. To the right, you add a sharp each time. To the left, we add a flat each time until we meet at the bottom there. Okie dokie, I'll do a few more videos. Hopefully my next one I might talk a little bit about one of the other important subjects before we look at chord construction, and that of course is intervals. But anyway, till next time, bye for now.